Hello everyone, this is Kyle Galaz with Poor2Pro Car Sales Training Podcast. Become a sales titan. We are in Season 5 talking about characteristics of the top salespeople. Season 5, Episode 2, which we're recording right now, is talking about being a knowledgeable salesperson. Before we get into the episode, I want to say thank you to all my supporters out there. All the nice feedback, all the awesome comment. You guys are what keep me going. Thank you guys. I never want to do an episode without saying thank you to my listeners and my supporters. You guys have been buying my workbooks, my Sold as Gold book. My goal is to be the #1 car sales trainer on the planet, and I will achieve it. I will achieve it just like you guys have goals, I have my goals. But the only way I achieve my goals is through you guys, you listeners out there, making sure you guys share the podcast, share the good word that Poor2Pro and Kyle Galaz is trying to put out there. So I appreciate all your support. Let's get into this episode talking about being a knowledgeable salesperson. There's a lot of different things about being knowledgeable in your industry. And in car sales, some managers will tell you, hey, if you get good at product knowledge, you're going to sell some cars. Yeah, you will. If you're a good people person, you're knowledgeable with people, you're going to sell some cars. Yeah, you sure will. If you know the processes of the dealership, you're going to sell some cars. Well, what happens when a salesperson is knowledgeable in the product? What happens when a salesperson is knowledgeable with customers and is a people person, knows the steps of the sale, knows the dealership processes, and knows how to close deals? That's the guy making $100,000, $150,000 to $200,000 a year. The guys that get good at one thing, they're knowledgeable in product and they hope that carries them, they do okay. There's salespeople out there that are good with people, but they're not very good with product knowledge, and they do pretty good. The person that can couple all this together on the sales floor is the salesperson that's going to kill it. This is the salesperson that I consider a sales titan. This is a salesperson that makes 6 figures a year. So let's get into this episode, Season 5, Episode 2, being a knowledgeable salesperson. Let's talk about the foundation of a car salesperson, and that's product knowledge. You have to have product knowledge to have confidence, and you have to have confidence to be convincing. If you want to convince customers to buy vehicles from you, then you have to be convincing. And the only way you can be convincing is to have confidence. And the way you get confidence is by having product knowledge. When you start at your dealership, or maybe you've been there for a while, constant product knowledge is key. You have to stay up on your product. We all know how fast products change. Every 2 to 3 years, the manufacturers are changing up each lineup. Each vehicle is getting something new. So you can't just learn a vehicle and think that's going to carry you through a successful career. You have to constantly be updating your brain of all the current products in your lineup. A lot of salespeople will get good at one particular vehicle, right? Oh, I love the Ford F-150. I'm a specialist at the F-150. Why can't you be a specialist at all your vehicles that you sell? That's the salesperson that makes the big money. The salesperson that knows everything about every vehicle in their lineup. Because you're going to have salespeople that don't know this and they need a go-to guy. And if you know everything about every product that you sell new, then you're going to be that go-to guy and you're going to start picking up half deals. That's how you sell 15, 20, 30 cars a month, is by being the go-to guy for salespeople that don't want to put in the work that you're putting in. The fact that you're listening to this podcast episode right now tells me you're putting in the work to get better. You're learning things outside of work. You're learning things on the way to work. You're learning on your break at work by listening to this podcast. Do the same when it comes to product knowledge. And not only will you be the go-to guy at your dealership, but you're going to start gaining respect from your managers, from the owner, from the GM. And these are the kind of salespeople that get promoted at the dealership, that actually care about the product they're selling. We've all been to a cell phone store and met that salesperson at the cell phone store that doesn't know anything about what they're selling. You know more as a consumer at the cell phone store about the cell phone you want to buy than the salesperson that's going to make the commission off of it. How did you feel when you went to that cell phone store and were dealing with a salesperson that had no idea what they were selling? How did it make you feel? It kind of sucks when you as a customer go into a business, and it could be any business. You could be buying a fan, an air conditioner, a car, a fridge, a microwave, computer equipment. When a consumer knows more about the product than the actual salesperson, it's not a good feeling. So make sure you as a salesperson are getting all that product knowledge, so when consumer comes in, you can fire off on anything. Ask me anything. When I was on the sales floor, this is one of my favorite things to do when I was selling Alfa Romeo and Maseratis. That customer that comes in is a hard person to sell. They have all the money in the world. They can buy anything when they're looking at a Maserati, a Porsche, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. But how did I, as a salesperson, win them over? I did stuff that they've never seen before on the sales floor. And the first thing was my product knowledge. And I would tell these people that have $1 million in their checking account and who knows how much in their savings and all their investments, I would tell these customers, ask me anything, try to stump me. And you should see the grins on their faces when they meet a salesperson so confident in their product that they can say that. How many salespeople have you ever met in your life that said, ask me anything, try to stump me? Very few. I was that guy when I was on the sales floor. You need to be that guy or girl on the sales floor. So get that product knowledge and learn how to present it. It's not just knowing it, it's also knowing how to present it. In product knowledge, it's just as important to know the competition's product. If you want to be a top salesperson at your dealership or in any sales position, you have to know the competition just as good as you know your product. Yes, does it take a lot of time learning everyone's product? Does it take a lot of time learning your product? Absolutely. But at the end of the year, when you get your statement for year-to-date income, yours is going to say 180,000, and the guy that didn't care about learning, the competition, says 90,000. You've made double that person because you care about your product and you care about the competition's product enough to be able to convey that to a customer when they come in. When a customer comes in and they say, hey, I'm looking at your car, I'm looking at the Audi, I'm looking at the BMW, I'm looking at the Mercedes, and you say, excellent. Which vehicles are you looking at over there? And they tell you, and you can do a full product presentation on the competition's vehicle and your vehicle, and you can tell them why your vehicle is a better value and not bash the competition. But when you can show them, hey, this is why my vehicle is better and has more value than the competition. I'm not knocking the competition. They make a great product. Here's why their car is great, but here is why our car is a better value. Boom, you're going to sell them right on the spot. They're not going to need to look around. Okay, so learn your product and learn the competition's product. Okay, let's go into number 2, understanding the customer. You have to be knowledgeable with people. You have to be knowledgeable with consumers. What are their buying motives? What are their hot buttons? How do you find these things? The way you find them is you got 2 ears. You ask questions and you listen to the customer. You have to listen to what the customer is saying. You have to ask questions to get a response, to build a case file, to close them later. And the only way you can get a customer to talk is by asking them questions. When you ask questions, you're in control of the conversation. Everyone knows this that's been in sales. If you're new to this, then you have to learn this. You have to ask questions and listen and learn from what they're saying, because they're going to tell you all their hot buttons on how to close them. They're going to tell you all the things to say to find the right product. So you have to understand your customer. Be knowledgeable with body language also. When a customer has their arms crossed and they're not making eye contact, you're probably losing them. When one of the parties is moved on from you because you're talking too much or you're telling too many stories, that happens to me when I go places. When I want to buy something and me and my wife are at the furniture store or wherever we are at and the salesperson is talking about irrelevant things, I'll wander off. I'm here to shop. So you got to look at their body language when you're dealing with customers and be knowledgeable in that. Now that comes with experience, but that also comes with helping as many customers as possible. The more customers you help, the better you're going to get at this. If you are only helping 1 or 2 customers a day, it's going to take a long time to get good at understanding body language, understanding customers, what they're really trying to say versus what they are saying. But you got to help as many people. Get yourself in front of people and you'll get better at that. Dealing with customers, understanding body language, understanding what the customer is actually saying. And make sure when you ask a question, don't interrupt them. Let that customer talk. Be quiet. Let them talk and start learning and be knowledgeable on people. Learn people, study people. Go shopping with a buddy and see what it takes for him to buy a car. And you know that you're taking mental notes, you got to learn people. You can go on Google and look at all kinds of different references and discussions about people, the psychology of people. So make sure you guys are knowledgeable in people. All right. Let's go into number 3, the steps of the sale. If you don't know the steps of the sale like the back of your hand, then you're going to flounder and wander through the process. You have to know the steps of the sale. You need to be able to repeat them, boom, right out of your head when you're asked, hey, what are the steps of the sale? Or when you're helping somebody that's new, what are the steps of the sale? Boom, the meet and greet, needs assessment, build a rapport, product presentation, demo drive, right? You got to be able to fire all these things off and learn the steps of the sale. If you don't know the steps of the sale like the back of your hand, then guess what happens? You get to a certain step and you start talking and you're not moving the deal forward. You have to always be moving the deal forward through the steps of the sale. So here's my 11 steps of the sale. You can either write this down or message me and I'll message you back. First, meet and greet. Second, needs assessment / building rapport. Third, product presentation. Fourth, demo drive. Fifth, write up. 6, close them. 7, paperwork. 8, finance. 9, delivery. 10, social media. Make sure you follow them on social media. And then number 11, forever follow-up. Never stop following up with your customers. Moving on to our next subject, understanding how your dealership works / processes. This is very important for salespeople to do. You have to know what it takes and who you need to deal with at your dealership. Now, if you've been there a while, of course you know this. You know that the sales manager writes up the deal. The finance guy helps you get it approved, right? These are simple things. I'm not talking necessarily about your direct manager and your finance guy and your person that helps you with deliveries or whoever you have on staff. I'm talking about all those people that are your support staff, your service advisors, your mechanics, your service manager, your body shop people, your parts people. Build relationships with these people, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to understand when a customer calls you and it's a heat case, you need to get some backup. You know exactly who to get a hold of at your dealership. You found a scratch on your car? No problem. I got your guy. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Boom. And you call your body shop guy. You got to have relationships with people at your dealership to be able to be successful. This is where I failed when I was younger in the car business. Is I worked at a Ford store and all I cared about was selling. All I care about is selling cars. But I never built relationships with the parts guys, with the service guys, with the body shop, with the detail. I only used them when I had to. Where I failed is they would bend over backwards for me after I finally built a relationship with them. They would send me referrals. They would buy cars from me once I built a relationship with my support staff and people at my dealership. So not only do you have to understand all the processes at your work to help customers better and more smoothly, but make sure you're meeting all your coworkers, building relationship with your coworkers, so that way you can have a flourishing career, get referrals, and get employee deals. Understand how your dealership works. Make sure that you have good relationships with everyone you work with. It is hard to build relationships with other salespeople that find you as competition. Eventually, you're going to build a friendship with these people, but you don't want to build too close of a friendship with these salespeople because you end up in the huddle, wasting time every day. When it comes to salespeople, they are your competition, but you still have to have a good relationship with them. Just don't hang out with them too long. It's not clock in at the dealership and hang out for a few hours and eventually try to sell some cars. No, it's clock in and get to work. And when salespeople want to get in the huddle with you, you got to run from it. All right, let's move on to the next subject, closing customers. Being knowledgeable as a salesperson includes a lot of uncomfortable things. And some salespeople don't like closing deals. They don't like confrontation. Some salespeople struggle with closing customers and confrontation because it's uncomfortable and it's way out of their comfort zone. But if you want to be knowledgeable and be the full package, you got to close your own deals. And you got to step out of that comfort zone and learn how to close. Being knowledgeable as a salesperson, you have to learn how to close. You have to learn different closes. My season 2, there's 10 episodes in my season 2, and they all talk about different closes. And I have more closes that I use. And I'm always making up new closes because I never stop training and I never stop learning. And this is what you need to do also. Close your customers down. Be knowledgeable when they say, hey, I'm just looking. What about, I want to think about it. I literally have a rebuttal for anything a customer has ever told to me because not only I've been in the car business 21 years, but I continually learn. And me being as a sales manager, I can't back down from anybody. When my salesperson says, hey, I'm having a hard time closing them, okay, bring them to me. I have to go head to head. My job title requires me to go head to head with any customer, no matter how good they are, how bad they are, how knowledgeable the customer is, how many times they said they bought cars. I have to go toe to toe with customers all the time. But that's what I do. That's what I get paid for because I learned how to do it. You don't get promoted at a dealership if you haven't learned how to close. You got to be able to close deals, but you have to be knowledgeable in closing. You have to research how to close. You have to practice on how to close deals. So you guys got to make sure you're out there trying to learn how to close. So let's do a recap here. Product knowledge, your product, the competition's product. Understanding the customer, being knowledgeable with people, body language, when to talk, when to be quiet. Get good at that. The steps of the sale, the 11 steps of the sale. Make sure you guys aren't wandering around in your car deal. Make sure you have direction on what you're doing in the car deal. The next one, understanding how your dealership works, processes, and having good relationships with all the employees, all your coworkers, because you're going to get more deals. And finally, be knowledgeable in closing customers and don't be afraid to do it. Now, is there other things to talk about when it comes to being knowledgeable? Always. You got to be knowledgeable in the banks, the interest rate, the rebates, all those incentives that we have to deal with, dealer trades, how the website works, how to apply for credit. There's so many things that you have to be knowledgeable to be the full package. So you guys have to keep on training every single day, keep on learning on how to be a better salesperson. Keep listening to the podcast. If you've listened to all the episodes, start over and get good again at listening and learning. And whether you listen to my podcast or another podcast, the fact that you're training every day, the fact that you're trying to get better is what matters. Season 5, episode 2, talking about being a knowledgeable salesperson. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for the support. Make sure you share the podcast with everybody that you know. And I hope my goal comes to fruition of me visiting every dealership in the USA. But the only way I can get there is with your guys' support. It takes the people, it takes the masses to help me. Appreciate all your support. Kyle Galaz signing out.